Hey everybody, welcome back to the Love Dogs channel. If you're new here, I'm Tiff and I have two dogs, Jaffe and Hazel.
Say hello to the good people. Say hello.
Together, the dogs and I are the Love Dogs. That's our backpacking trail name. I've been backpacking with dogs, various dogs, for 16 years now. It's hard to believe. That actually includes 4 dogs, and the 2 that I have now, Jaffe and Hazel, are very different than the other 2 that I've worked with, and we're always on the lookout for new stuff that might make our lives easier on trail. I consider my dogs working dogs, and we require working dog gear. In my personal experience, that kind of approach to outdoor dog gear is mostly lacking in the current lineup of companies that are manufacturing outdoor hiking and backpacking dog gear. Roughwear, for example, is probably one of the most common outdoor dog gear companies today, and I personally have found much of their gear less than ideal for my use. I need all of my gear to function properly and be absolutely reliable. As such, my requirements very often lead me to purchase tactical gear. The term tactical has kind of become convoluted in recent years. Everybody seems to use it. It's kind of a fun term. It actually makes me roll my eyes quite a bit. There are so many companies nowadays that are using the term tactical inappropriately. The term tactical really kind of refers to more police and military and emergency personnel gear. It is gear that is highly functional, highly durable. Typically on tactical dog gear, you're gonna see load-rated heavy-duty hardware, mil-spec nylon webbing, and you're gonna see reinforced stitching. Really high craftsmanship. It's not necessarily overbuilt, it's just well built. So for example, those of you who have watched my videos or who know the dogs and me personally, you may have seen the wide collars that I use on the dogs and the nylon service dog leashes that I use with them. Both of those things were made by a tactical gear company by the name of Ray Allen Manufacturing. And Ray Allen makes dog gear specifically for military and police canine units. So most of their gear is load rated. Their harnesses are typically LLC, which stands for lift, load, and carry. Think helicopters suspending dogs. Ray Allen Manufacturing is actually a Colorado Springs company, and they make fantastic gear. I am a huge supporter of them because I've used their gear for years now. So why don't I just buy a pack system from Ray Allen, you might ask. The issue that I've found when it comes to looking to tactical dog gear manufacturers for backpacking gear is that while the harness system, the harness and the collars and the leashes may all work great, there still isn't a perfect pack system. So in other words, saddlebags or pouches. Most canine units, military or police, are not trying to stick 8 days worth of kibble in their saddlebags. So mostly what I've come to find is that those pouches or those saddlebags for the tactical harnesses are often just too small for our needs as long-distance multi-day backpackers. So last November, November 2022, I came across an advertisement online for the Säker Canine Ascension Dog Pack system, and my interest was immediately piqued. What I found was actually the Kickstarter campaign, and it had already ended, but you could go to the website and pre-order the pack system. So I was going through this Kickstarter campaign and reading about this pack system and just getting more excited as I read, because almost everything was checking off boxes with regard to the things that I've found myself needing for my dogs in a pack system. They even referred to it as the Arc'teryx of dog gear. It was designed by a Canadian even, and so I'm reading this and I'm thinking, finally somebody has gotten it right. Somebody who backpacks long distances with their dogs and knows what is needed. So I'm just gonna read a list of specs here from the Kickstarter campaign that were really the reasons I got so excited about this pack system and why I ended up jumping on it and pre-ordering 2 for my dogs. It advertises an ultra versatile weatherproof harness. The harness features 7 adjustment points for a better fit. It has a traffic handle built in on top that can handle 1,600 pounds of force. Just to make a point, this is not LLC load rated. The harness has rainbow reflective tabs for night visibility. It has Cobra style buckles. Säker's version is 6061 aluminum alloy, load rated at 745 pounds. The harness features welded pads versus sewn. This basically means that they're airtight and it won't get soaked all the way through. The harness uses high resistance nylon. Now, I couldn't find more specific details about the type of nylon used, but it did pass crash tests early on, and so those crash tests do require a very specific type of strength or spec of nylon straps to be used. It advertises no chafing thanks to a belly adjuster if fitted properly. Those are keywords that will come back later. It's water and odor proof. There are front and back leash attachment points. The harness has 3 loops on each side for attaching saddlebags. The 6 attachment points for the saddlebags equally distribute weight across the dog's back. The pouches attach and detach in 60 seconds by inserting 3 metal hooks into the nylon loops at the top of the harness on each side. This is actually the same system that's used by some of the tactical gear companies, including Ray Allen. Each saddlebag has a 6-liter volume, but can be snapped down smaller when the full capacity is not being used. Pouches have waterproof zippers. Pouches are made of 840D PVC coated nylon, and they are marketed as weatherproof, or at least they were on the Kickstarter campaign. The pouches have a bounce buckle at the bottom that connects to the harness strap to prevent bouncing and weight shifting while the dog moves down the trail. Each pouch has clips inside of the top for optional 1-liter clip-in water bags, which they call the Slurpee sacks. There's also an optional rescue sling that attaches to the harness to make carrying out an injured dog easier. There's a method of using this whole system as a safety restraint in a vehicle. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, there are optional 1-liter water bags that they call the Slurpee sacks. Those bags have a locking mechanism and a built-in silicone fold-out lid that's a drinking bowl. And it has the ability to pour unused water back into the bottle, which is great. I hate wasting water on trail. Some of the things that were really important to me, it was the fact that I could put on the harness and leave that harness on, and then when we would take packs off breaks on trail, which we do multiple times throughout a day, all I would have to do is remove the saddlebags. I wouldn't have to remove the entire weight of the entire pack over the dog's head 2 times for each break that we take through multiple times throughout the day. So really just convenience, and for me and for the dogs, because the dogs don't like heavy things being lifted over their heads. And that really was easy on trail. I loved that part. Absolutely love that part. The use of Cobra style buckles, which some of you know were kind of a fiasco in the beginning because they didn't function properly. They actually came unbuckled just by pressing 1 tab down on the buckle, and that's not how they work. The whole point of a Cobra buckle is that it will not come unlatched unless you pull down both tabs at the same time. And so there was kind of a big fiasco about that. It has since been resolved. The new packs that are going out are being shipped with brand new buckles. They're fully functional. Those of us who pre-ordered packs were sent replacement remanufactured buckles to put on. It was easy to put on. I did videos about that, I'll link somewhere. Anyway, the buckle issue is resolved. I was really interested in the size of the saddlebags, 6 liters each, more than enough room to carry 8 days of food plus their extras like treats and other things. The saddlebags were advertised as waterproof with a waterproof zipper, or weatherproof and a waterproof zipper. Turns out they really weren't weatherproof, and I am pretty sure the zipper is not waterproof either. So I was really disappointed in that. Disappointed, and yet it's not a deal breaker because none of my dog packs have been waterproof. So that's something I've dealt with for a while. I just triple bag their dog food and it's fine. Do I still want a waterproof saddlebag? Yes, with an actual AquaGuard waterproof zipper. The other things that I was interested in were the metal leash attachment rings that are on the front of the chest and on the back of the harness, which is great. I don't use the harness as an actual walking tool. However, it's nice to have options. You never know what situations you might find yourself in. So all of these options are great. All of the strap tighteners were metal, not cheap plastic. I was also impressed that Säker Canine did research about how the type of material in their harness padding impacted the overall body temperature of the dog. In other words, they were concerned about dogs overheating with these pads, and they did research that actually showed that it dissipated heat better than other harness systems. The optional rescue sling I did not purchase, but I thought down the road maybe I might. That was a nice option. And the integration with the Slurpee sacks was like a game changer for me. I ended up not using them on the CT simply because it would have been too much weight for my dogs to carry. They were carrying 8 days of food. Each of them was carrying 8 days of food. And to put 1 liter of water or even half a liter of water in there with it just would have been overkill. So I ended up carrying the extra water. And of course they drink water direct from the water sources when we have those anyway. But I definitely could see myself using those Slurpee sacks on shorter day hikes. Okay, so the cons for us after 40 miles of rugged backcountry mountain wilderness backpacking. I just want to say that nowhere on Säker Canine's website does it actually say that these packs were made for such use. However, all of their marketing shows, you know, beautiful dogs in beautiful mountain landscapes with these packs on, and you know, it's a Canadian designer and they compare it to Arc'teryx in human back outdoor gear. And so there's sort of just this insinuation that this is made for really hardcore outdoor multi-day long distance backpacking with dogs. So that's kind of what I went in thinking. All of that said, here are my thoughts, regardless if it was intended for this kind of hard use or not. These are my thoughts after 40 miles on trail. The edge of the chest pad on both dogs chafed. Jaffy more so than Hazel. Hazel's was more of a skin irritation. She had just small bumps in one area where that chest pad, the edge of the chest pad sat. Jaffy, on the other hand, had an all-out raw spot where that chest pad was rubbing. They say that, you know, any chafing like that is a result of a poor fit. I gotta tell you, I spent a lot of time and effort trying to get the fit perfect on both dogs before we ever hit the trail, and I felt pretty good about it. Jaffy's body is built just a lot differently than Hazel's. He has a fattier chest, and so that chest plate on him, it moved around with his flab. Like his chest is just fatty and it moves around. So I'm thinking that probably played into why he chafed so badly, but nonetheless, it's not good, and I'm not sure right now how to fix that. I'm planning to look at his fit a little bit closer, but I'm actually not sure what else I can do. You don't want something like that too tight, so I'm not sure about that. The saddlebags, as I mentioned before, are most definitely not weatherproof, and the zippers are not waterproof, at least not by my standards. I did notice on their website, I think it was their website, that they've changed the verbiage to read water resistant now, and that might have been a change from the Kickstarter product to the actual product that rolled out. I'm not sure. So also after 40 miles, the PVC coating on the saddlebags actually started rubbing off in some areas, which is a little disappointing. But you know, I don't expect this gear to remain in pristine condition the way we use it. One thing that I will just mention, and I don't see it on their website anymore, so they may not even sell it or ship it out with the packs, but when I pre-ordered my packs, mine came with kind of a thin metal carabiner-ish clip on the very back loop. Those just bent super easily, and I would say they're not intended to bear weight. What I ended up doing was putting a black diamond locking carabiner in that loop where that clip was, and I did use that to attach a leash to and pace Hazel. Now that attachment point is not a good attachment point if you're looking to have control over your dog. that attachment point is good for like joring sports, pulling if you had an appropriate harness, pulling harness. But I used it to pace Hazel because otherwise she tends to just go too fast. It was kind of convenient to just clip it onto the back of her to pace her, and the leash doesn't get tangled underfoot. It doesn't get caught on other things in the harness or anything like that because it's on the very back end. And so it works great for that sort of thing. So I wrote a blog post about this as well and included some photos. I'll put the link to that post in the description of this video if you want to check that out. Overall, I still think this is a great system. I still plan to use it. I'm going to be messing with the fit, seeing if I can resolve the chafing issue on Jaffe in particular. Next season, if I haven't found anything else that works better, I'm likely to continue using this. For Hazel, I think actually it's pretty close to the perfect system for Hazel. For Jaffe, we need to figure out what's causing the chafing before I can really confidently put it back on him for another long distance trip. I may end up going back to the Mountain Smith Canine on Jaffe until I can figure things out or find something better. When I was researching to do this video and the corresponding blog post, I did go to Säker Canine's website and notice that they have on their website that something new is coming soon. And you can enter your email to be notified when that is announced. So I don't know what that is, but it doesn't matter. To me, that tells me that this company is still actively working to create gear, which also tells me that there's a possibility they can make a better pack system and that maybe down the road they'll come out with a generation 2 that is even better. I'm actually really hoping so. I do plan to submit my feedback to Chris from Säker Canine. I always am kind of hesitant about doing that because I don't want to be like, hey, this is everything that's wrong with your product. Because I still, like I said, I think this is a fantastic first generation dog pack system that has a few things that could be changed to make it even better. All of that said, if you were to sneak up behind me as I was working at my laptop, especially this past week, you would very likely find me on Ray Allen's website looking at all of their various harnesses and sizing their G-hook pouches and trying to figure out if I could possibly make one of their harness and G-hook pouches work for our long distance backpacking trips. Ray Allen does have a harness that I am very interested in because it's lightweight. It's actually mostly mesh, which would also help with breathability when it's warm out there. My only hesitation is, well, okay, I have more than one hesitation. The biggest hesitation is that that particular harness is over $300 for one. Yeah, this gear is expensive. I don't know how I would ever actually afford that for one dog, let alone two. I did find a cheaper harness that is similar, still made out of mesh, but the straps are a little bit different, and I think maybe for our needs that could work. So my goal is to get my hands on that cheaper Ray Allen harness. I'm not opposed to spending that much money on quality gear when I have the money. Anyway, all of that said, I'm looking at the Ray Allen stuff, but I'm also really optimistic about Säker Canine and the possibility of them continuing to work on this and maybe coming out with an even better pack system. There were so many aspects of this system that I absolutely loved. I loved how the saddlebags were easily removed from the harness when we took packs off brakes. I loved that I could keep their harnesses on, that first thing in the morning before I broke down camp, I could put their harnesses on, but wait until the last minute when I had taken the tent down and gotten everything in my pack before I put their saddlebags on the harness. All of that worked so well for us. I did appreciate that they came in different colors that were actually pretty. Some of you may, who have been following me for a long time, may remember that the pack system that I ordered for Jaffe actually was black, and I worried about that and the sun and him being dark colored. And so a friend of mine actually wanted to buy one of these, and he said, hey, what color do you want for Jaffe? I'll buy that and then I'll trade you. So I said, well, let's try the purple. And so he ordered the purple, and when he got it, we traded. And so that's how we ended up with a purple pack for Jaffe. It may not have mattered that much, but because Jaffe is so dark colored and I didn't want him to overheat, the purple just made me feel better. You know, there's so much to like about this system. Everything is really well thought out. You know, even with the PVC coating coming off, I'm not sure that makes a huge difference. I don't know. It's still functional right now, and it's not any less waterproof. I don't really feel like that is particularly vulnerable now because it's rubbed off. Side note, I'm gonna make other videos about other pieces of dog gear in the future, but the pitch black night lights that we used also from Säker Canine never once fell off their harnesses. I had them attached to the top going all the way around the padding and the strap and everything. Never once came off. I expected them to fall off at some point, and they didn't. The Velcro patch sleeves that go on the neck straps were nice. I like that. So I think that's it for now. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If I skipped over anything that you wanted to know about, leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you. I tried my very best to be comprehensive in this and to talk about everything that I experienced with this pack system on 40 miles of the Colorado Trail. There's a chance I left something out though, so definitely check out the blog if you are into blogs, or if you just want to know more. I'll link it in the description. There's photos there that you can look at. We'll do some more dog gear videos in the future. I'll touch on their collars and the leashes I used, and dog boots. Dog boots are a hot topic for me. I'll do another video about those. For now, that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.